The following is a paid advertisement for the Almighty Cleanse, brought to you by ITV.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Welcome back to a brand new edition of ITV. Our guest today is Danny Vieira. He's an author, he's a lecturer, and he's a health advocate. For the past 22 years, Danny has appeared on hundreds of radio and television programs teaching people the secrets of staying healthy, vibrant, and full of energy. He's here today to talk about the toxins that are poisoning our bodies from the inside out. If you're concerned about your health, this is a show you're not going to want to miss, so stay with us. Danny Vieira, thanks for being my guest.
Nice meeting you, Donald.
Now, talk about this. The average American is carrying up to 22 pounds of fecal matter in their body. Explain this.
Well, you know, constipation is a major problem, and not many people want to talk about it. When you realize that 2.5 million people in this country visit doctors annually due to constipation, and 92,000 are hospitalized annually in this country due to constipation, it's a major problem. Well, I think that Americans, because they're eating 25% of their diet from junk food, are packed with fecal matter within there, and they don't even realize it. The constipation isn't just not being able to go to the bathroom. It's an incrustation on the walls of the colon that they can have a lifetime of fecal matter building up on the intestinal wall.
You mean the fecal matter clogs up the colon? It's not just being constipated. I mean, you can't go to the bathroom. You're saying there's people that actually go to the bathroom that are still constipated.
They can have a bowel movement once, twice a day, and they're still constipated people.
How many bowel movements should somebody have?
Let's start with the medical profession opinion first. According to the National Digestive Disease Information Clearinghouse, they say that the average amount of bowel movements should be 3 a day to 3 a week. And then I found medical authors and medical doctors that said that there is no medical reason that we need to have a bowel movement every day, and that constipation is 2 or less per week. That means that I can eat 21 meals in a week, have 3 bowel movements in a week, and be 18 meals short of evacuation, and the medical field is going to say, you're normal.
Well, that's why everyone's walking around bloated, because they think they're normal.
That's absolutely true. But let me say this, that the natural medicine community says 3 a day. Not 3 a week, 3 a day. And I like to put it this way, that if you have 2 to 5 bowel movements a week, you're going to come up with 50 to 70,000 bowel movements short in your lifetime. You think you're going to feel good carrying around meal after meal in the intestines? You see the stomachs of the people today?
Yeah. And I can understand that, because my 2-year-old at home, every time she eats, she goes to the bathroom.
Now, that's the right rule.
Every time she eats, she goes to the bathroom.
That's the right rule. You look at a baby. They breastfed, and then they'd have a bowel movement. And that's the way it should work. I know 2 natural healers that traveled the world to find out what is the healthy amount of bowel movements. And they found that those that ate the most produce, high-fiber foods, that they would have anywhere from 3 to 4 bowel movements a day. We have 3 a week in this country, and the doctors say it's normal, and we have the highest rate of colorectal disease in the world.
What are we supposed to do? I mean, what is someone supposed to do? Take a laxative?
Chocolate-flavored laxatives isn't the answer, okay? We don't want to liquefy the stool. What we want to do is re-educate the bowel, because you're carrying around a lot of old fecal matter that's literally poisoning your system. Here's another point that I just thought of. Part of the physiology of the colon is to absorb the last phases of vitamins and nutrients, also to absorb water from many functions of the body. Now think about this. You have stagnant, rotting, gluey, smelly feces within you. You don't have a regular bowel movement. Maybe you have 3 a week. And here the colon's to absorb water into the rest of the body. What conditions that water in? Would you drink it?
No.
Absolutely not. Okay, it's polluted. It's filled with bacteria, coliform bacteria. And it's also, you know, when you talk about this layer on the colon wall that I want to get into today, Donald, we can have years of fecal matter, and it's called in the medical terminology mucoviscidosis, or intestinal mucin or surface mucin. And the theory is by eating all the acid-forming foods that we do in America today, and 1 million animals are eaten a day in America. You're drinking a gallon of soft drinks in a day or in a week within America. 52 teaspoons of sugar, 152 pounds of sugar, 30 pounds of cheese to the average American, and 195 pounds of meat. Okay, so all acid-forming food. So as you eat the acid-forming food, your body protects the lining by secreting mucus. Now, this is a normal thing, but when you eat acid-forming foods, layer upon layer of the mucus is secreted within the colon to protect the wall from the acid to bore through. Okay? So it neutralizes the acid.
And our bowel movements become smaller and smaller.
Exactly, because the aperture or the channel is narrowing. So you have these pencil-like stools that many women tell me they have. And I began to ask clients that would come into my office in nutritional counseling. And I would ask them, because I believe the foundation for healing is to have a healthy colon. The sewage system that God has given you has become a cesspool. And it's filled with parasites and bacteria. And so I asked him, how many bowel movements do you have? Oh, normal. And I said, normal in China or normal in America? How many do you have? And she says, well, you know, one a day. Well, maybe. I have had women sitting in front of me in my office that will look at me in the eye and say, I have one bowel movement every 3 weeks.
They're going to be sick.
They are.
They're going to be sick if they're not sick already.
Okay, so do you want to medicate them to wellness? This is about educating, not medicating. I flew here with my 18-year-old son. He's never been to the doctor, by the way, in his life. Never had a medication in his life. Okay, never been to the dentist, never had a cavity. Why? Because the kid has proper bowel function. He eats high-fiber foods. He exercises and drinks the amount of water he needs a day. But I was talking to him, and he said, what are some of the signs that a person needs to cleanse? And Donald, I said, well,
what are the signs?
Well, this is a good question. It's an excellent question. I said, let's start from the feet up. Foot odor. Then we go to ulcerations on the feet. Then you can go into swelling of the legs. Then you can take it up higher to sciatica. Then you can take it to the colon and the digestive system where there's a whole host of problems from gas, bloating, indigestion. Then you get to hemorrhoids. The Royal Society of Medicine of Great Britain published studies where 57 leading physicians concluded that nearly all contemporary chronic diseases have their origin in the bowel because of 35 different bacterial poisons that are absorbing into the body called auto-intoxication, self-poisoning. Now, they call it alimentary toxicity. Another name for that is toxic colon or colon toxicity, all right?
Tell me about the program that you developed called the Almighty Cleanse. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I've been doing nutritional education, and I owned health food stores for 21 years. I'm a health evangelist, a Christian health evangelist, and I've traveled all over the world to Africa. I've been to a number of different places where I speak about health and the Bible. In the Bible, you have a number of different health and healing stories that deal with purifying and cleansing. For instance, Daniel's diet in Daniel chapter 1, he said, don't give me the meat and the alcohol or the wine of the king, Nebuchadnezzar, but give me pulse, things that were grown, and water. And it doesn't say he cooked it. So it could have been raw and pure water. And in 10 days, he was 10 times wiser than anybody in the kingdom, and he was blessed with visions and dreams. You take another story of King Nebuchadnezzar. He denied God, and he was instructed to go eat for 7 years grass. And I think of wheat grass, and I think of barley grass, and I think of chlorophyll. You go to Captain Naaman. He had leprosy. And through the prophet Elijah, he was told to dip in the water 7 times. 7 years, Nebuchadnezzar, 7 times for Captain Naaman. So Captain Naaman was healed of his leprosy through hydrotherapy. And then you go to the next one.
Hydrotherapy is when they shoot water into the colon?
Well, yes, that is a form of hydrotherapy, but it can be hot and cold showers.
Okay.
It can be external or internal. But yes, enemas is a wonderful therapeutic tool. So then you go to another area of cleansing where Hezekiah was instructed by the prophet Isaiah. He had this pussy sore, maybe a tumorous growth on his groin area, and God instructed the prophet Isaiah to tell him to put a clump of figs on the wound, and it healed. So God instructed him to use figs to draw out the matter, and it did, and he healed. Then the most remarkable story is Jesus. He took the clay and the spittle, and he applied it to the blind man's eyes. And they told him to go cleanse in the pool of Siloam, and the guy came away seeing. And the clay has drawing powers. It's a great absorbent to the alimentary canal of toxins. And Donald, the clay is in our product. That's why I call it the Almighty Cleanse and a 7-day program.
So it's a 7-day cleanse.
7-day, not 30, 7. I want to get action. I want to see results in 7 days.
Hold on. I want to let our audience tune in here. If you're watching right now and you'd like some more information on Danny Vieira or on his revolutionary product called the Almighty Cleanse, pick up the phone and call the number on the screen. As always in ITV, we've worked out a special arrangement with our guests, so when you do call, mention ITV, and you will receive a substantial savings off the regular price of the product. So give us a call. Now, who should do a cleanse?
Everybody.
Everybody over the age of...
Let's start with somebody maybe